Peace, family. So we back with another one. Today what I want to do is I want to talk to my chosen ones about how you have always been the golden child. And they want us to believe that we were and you are the black sheeps of the family, you know. And to a certain degree, if you want to look at it from their standpoint, you can take it on with that sauce. But from my standpoint, I like to put more life and light into it. So, and then just kind of retouching base on some things, you know, when you diving in certain spaces and then engaging with people in real lifetime, you have conversations that kind of spark things as well too. So it's like, for us, we have always been able to handle pressure. Even at a young age, when we didn't really was like aware of the amount of pressure put on us. And one way you know you was able to handle pressure and you wasn't really sure how much it was, but it was a lot, it was more than the average, is if you have a circumstance or a situation that you continuously bring up, or it's one of those reflective stories that you like to bring up a lot, you know what I mean, when you're reflecting back on your past, or, you know, just filling people in. You know, sometimes we dive to our past just to fill people in on a little bit of our character, you know, depending on the engagement you're having with that being or those beings. And as we get older, we understand things on a deeper level. So you know the difference between somebody putting a feather on your back and putting a boulder on your back. When we were young, spiritually, we didn't understand those concepts. And for us, because we live such a lightful life, and I see it with my daughter, things that are out of our control at a young age, we learn ways to maneuver around it faster, and we don't stay in a sunken space. So even with that example alone, you will have to understand how you have always been golden. So it's like somebody putting a fire torch to you and trying to melt you, but you're not melting. So now they're figuring out how they can turn the degrees up, the knob up, you know, add a little bit flame, add a little bit more heat to try to melt it, you know what I mean? So you're not just gonna melt a piece of gold by sticking it in the oven, just like you ain't gonna be able to break no diamond just by stepping on it, you know what I mean? So a lot of these other beings that was around us in their upbringings understood these things, and they could see these things, but we just wasn't aware. I say these statements because you cannot be a diamond if you cannot withstand a large amount of pressure. For the ones of us that's out here still fighting this good fight, you know what I'm saying, whether you're doing it publicly or behind the scenes, you have to understand how much pressure you had to go through in order to become that diamond. Because we got a lot of people around us that couldn't handle that pressure, and they resorted to selfish routes, selfish tactics, which took them to being used by the opposition, because we all understand that that's one of the opposition favorite tactics to use, is to have you start with being selfish, you know? Self. They figured out how to twist you taking care of yourself to you making it all about yourself. We and you wouldn't be at none of these positions if we didn't have those experiences that we had growing up. And that's what I mean by, like, a lot of us have always been the golden child. Even if you wasn't outspoken with your words, your actions had always showed that you moved differently. It's kind of like everybody getting the same pizza, right? Everybody wants the same pizza. Everybody wants the same Jordans. But you would be the one who get the Jordans that's different from everybody else's in there. You the one that got the pizza that got a little bit more different toppings than everyone else's pizza. That little bit of uniqueness is what held us to who we are, which is why it was easy for us to be able to grow into this awareness. Because a lot of people say, oh, I'm lost and I gotta find myself. See, we never lost ourselves because we breadcrumbed ourselves. We knew something wasn't right with the environment, with the world, with the realm that we in. And we figured out a different way to kind of maneuver. If the lighting is off, it's because the sun going back and forth with the shade. But we figured out a different way to maneuver in it. So, understanding these things, like, it's no amount of pressure that they're going to be able to put on us that's going to be able to break us. Only way we're going to break is if we break ourselves. You know, it takes metal to break metal. You're going to need another piece of gold solid to break it, unless you're altering different things to kind of do it. But, you know, just thinking on layman's terms, you know what I'm saying? Like, you need the equal value of it in order to do what it does. You're not going to take a feather and break a tree branch, but you can take a tree branch against a tree branch and see if you can break it that way. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things that we had to withstand, that we had to go through and experience in life. And the mind-blowing part about it is, it's like a lot of those beings may have went off to, like, did different things to kind of make it seem like they was doing better, in a better position. But the overall concept, and once you could see, once they get past that that cloudy, it's like a whole floating cloud 9 phase that they have. It's like everybody's right here. Some of them hit these cloud 9 phases, but then once the clouds go away, because the clouds are never there forever, you can actually see what's going on. Most of these beings don't withstand, and then you can also see and tell that they had to sign some kind of agreement with the opposition in order for them to kind of be flourishing and to be okay with some of the fields that they are in that is hurting people and that would be hurting themselves longevity wise. You know what I mean? Now, we all hurting ourselves to a small degree, you know what I'm saying, with the foods we eat, the stuff we drink, smoke, the activities we choose to do. But as far as for us, we always lived more light, and we always followed our righteous path. That's why I say before, it was easier for us to kind of get back to us. We didn't lose ourselves. Other beings lose themselves. We strayed away from certain things, and then we found our ass back. We made it back, and then we came back more solid than we ever been. Because now you got a more enlightened and aware version of the younger version of you. So a lot of people be like, I wish I knew what I knew back then now. Well, you know it now. So now, 10 years from now, you should be saying, oh, I super elevated once I was in this space and I understood this knowledge, and now I surpassed and superseded where I was at then. Don't put yourself in the coulda, shoulda, woulda space, because that is a tough space to be in, and we all kind of bounce around over there, you know what I mean? But we always been golden. They had to apply so much pressure on you. You gotta think about how much pressure is applied on you. You coming through the womb in an unorthodox position already, you know what I'm saying? Because if people were to have natural births without the system saying lay on your back, most women would probably be trying to do some kind of squatting position, you know? And then it would turn into a laying position if squatting became too much. But what happened was they was able to take that laying on the back and extort it. So now we're in an artificial place where even at the hospital, the birthing areas, they could have it to where it's all glass above, plexiglass above the top. So at least you taking in some sun, the sky's the light, you know what I'm saying? You taking in some of the natural environment. We already coming into the realm in an unnatural environment. You know what I'm saying? Willie beamed with all these alien hands all over us, lights all over us. It almost feels like an abduction. Then you got the Similac, because a lot of people, I ain't gonna say people because it's only females doing it, a lot of females have been too lazy or didn't take care of themselves, so now they don't want to breastfeed or cannot breastfeed. So, and then a lot of us was on Similac, and then some that could breastfeed just didn't want to because it was just lazy, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do all of that. And that's just the start of it coming in. That don't have anything to do with your renters or whoever was in your environment that was supposed to be taking care of you, you know what I'm saying? Which we all understood, like, a lot of us in the 90s was emotionally neglected. That was kind of the strategy. It's my job to provide a roof, to provide clothes, and to provide food. Outside of that is fuck you, I don't give a fuck what you do. You can jump off a roof. Long as I did these things, I can say I was a great parent. So that was the model that they lived by for me when I was growing up, you know what I mean? So having these things transition us into being who we are today. I know for me, it don't matter what I'm going through, like I still wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Cause there's no telling if I would have still been able to hold that same warrior spirit, that same fight within me, you know? So just be mindful, like we always been golden. I know they want to say we were the black sheep, but we can say we were standing out, but we also knew how to fit in and still be golden. That's what a lot of people be getting confused. They think that you're gonna be some awkward, off balance kind of being, but actuality, I know I came in here to this realm in the quote unquote kind of perfect situation to blend in. I know my renters was unavailable, but it allowed me to fold and more myself into the being that I am. So being able to have the attributes that come with this vessel, meaning that I just came into the spirit and I believed in myself in the vessel. So I was always good at every sport I played. I was always really good at anything I ever did, you know, and on top of my body enabling me to, I believed it in up here. And I know a lot of us has, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of us also took different routes and paths as well too. But I say that to say, like, we came equipped. We came equipped, ready and prepared. You know what I'm saying? It was just a matter of them trying to make us unequipped and unprepared us. So once you start becoming aware and enlightened, you'll realize that every day you are having some kind of attack or some kind of battle or some kind of defense that you have to put up. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be always, especially within this Western society right now. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? We golden, we chosen, you know what I'm saying? That's why we are out here leading. We are leading behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. I don't care what money level you on, because there's people with big bags that's trying to do what they can up there. There's people with less big bags that's trying to do what they can. There's people with no bags that's trying to do what they can, you know what I'm saying? We all fighting for the same purpose and cause, you know what I'm saying? I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.